And we're back here in Jacksonville, 76 degrees, not much of a wind, and a 20% chance of rain. We had showers earlier in the day. And coming off wins last week, both of these teams, so we have two winners and two different approaches. Right now, let's send it down to Chris Button for more.
Well, last week the Cardinals notched their 5th win of the season. That equals their win total from last year. So Coach Bruce Arians gave his players a Monday off for the veterans. But it was no rest for the Jags, right back to work. And in the words of Gus Bradley, it was right back to eating crumbs. No rest, though, but he did give his players a souvenir. After the game, all the players got a game ball. And in total, it was 61 footballs handed out, Dick.
I'll tell you, Gus Bradley's philosophy here, Rondé, a lot of people think it's a knee-jerk thing, rah-rah, but it's a lot more than that as far as his approach to coaching.
Gus is about as genuine a head coach as I've ever been around, been able to have the opportunity to meet. I was with him in Tampa, and his mentality there is the same as it is here. He's going to be him. He's going to be excited. He's going to be positive all the way, and it doesn't matter what their record is. His demeanor is never going to change.
4 years as defensive coordinator with the Seattle Seahawks before coming over here. Engineered a great defensive team. Meanwhile, Bruce Arians, in case people have forgotten, was the 2012 Coach of the Year. 9-3 with the Colts when he took over for Chuck Pagano, who battled leukemia last year. And Bruce Arians also has, the light approach, I would say, in Arizona.
Yeah, I think Bruce has done a great job here in Arizona so far this year. You talk to those players, and they say he's really calm. He's really, kept together. But when it comes to Sunday, the intensity cranks up, and so does his Cardinals team.
Jaguars win the toss, and they'll receive. Jordan Todman is back deep, and the veteran Jay Feely will start things off for Arizona. And I said not much of a wind, 8 miles an hour, but it was enough to knock the ball off the tee. Last year, remember, the Cardinals started off 4-0, and then the roof caved in. They lost 9 straight and then won that 5th game before dropping their last game of the year. It's a different season for the Cardinals. A low kick to start it off, and Todman will run it out from 4 yards. And Todman, with a good return, brings it out just shy of the 30-yard line, where Jay Feely, the kicker, makes the tackle. Chad Henne making his 5th consecutive start, and the former Miami Dolphin, those were his numbers last week. He has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns, but leading the team to victory against Tennessee.
Yeah, not impressive numbers last week, only 180 yards, those 2 interceptions. But like we said in the open, this team won because they played great on defense. Chad Henne, as long as he doesn't create a lot of bad situations for his team with turnovers, they keep themselves in football games.
They're in the pistol here on first down at the 29-yard line, and here's Mercedes Lewis, the tight end. And Lewis getting it up for the first down as we take a look at the impact players with the Jaguars having the ball.
The Jags have their hands full now with this 3rd-ranked rushing defense, but they will need to get their ground game going with MGD. Cecil Shorts has been their leading receiver, but he could be nullified by this guy right here, Patrick Peterson and John Abraham. 6 sacks in his last 3 games. He has been dominant since he's had an opportunity to start so far for these Arizona Cardinals.
Lewis went out of bounds, so 9 yards, bringing up 2nd down and 1. And in motion to the outside here is Maurice Jones-Drew, and he's not going to get enough for the first down. Stopped by the middle of the line, led by Carlos Dansby. Maurice Jones-Drew, in his 8th season, led the NFL in rushing in 2011, and 67 touchdowns. He has been quite a warrior at running back.
He has, and he hasn't had the production this year, and he was hurt last year, that you might expect out of a guy with his kind of pedigree. But you talk to these defenders for Arizona, and they still say he's the same guy, still make you miss and run over you in the hole.
And here is the handoff to Jones-Drew, and he's going to be stopped again by Dansby. Carlos Dansby, who is a original Arizona Cardinal, went to the Dolphins and now back with Arizona, making the tackle. No gain on the play, and it'll be 4th down and 1. And the Jags are going to go for it. They actually lost the yard. They're on their own 38-yard line. So it's a long yard.
It'd be interesting to see what they try to do here. 2 runs right up the gut. right at Dan Williams, Darnell Dockett, Calais Campbell have not been successful. See if they try to draw them off sides here, if they're actually going to snap the ball.
And they're going to snap the ball, and here is Henne, and his pass, it's caught. Wide open is Danny Noble, a tight end. Noble inside the 20, and he'll get in for the touchdown. What a start. The former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Danny Noble on a 62-yard pass play on 4th and 1. Henne throws the touchdown pass, and Jacksonville draws the early lead.
Chad Henne had his fullback out in the flat. You'll see him come out here, but he waits to see Danny Noble come clean here. Patrick Peterson looks like he was supposed to be in primary coverage. Lets him go. Eyes in the backfield. Huge touchdown early for these Jacksonville Jaguars.
And Josh Scobie on for the extra point. Be honest, did you think they were going to run the play or just see if they would go offside?
I thought they were going to try to draw them off sides. That is a bold call by this team.
What a gamble, and it paid off. 62-yard touchdown pass. Henne to Noble, and it's 7-0 Jags. Wow. And back here in Jacksonville, where the Jaguars take the lead, 4 plays, 71 yards, and the first career catch, much less a touchdown, for Danny Noble. And Javier Arenas is in the end zone for the Cardinals. And that kick will sail out, and the Cardinals will take over on the 20-yard line. Well, the burning questions today, and the crowd was exceptionally enthusiastic for good reason, Rondé.
Absolutely. Our burning questions. Will the Cards stay in this game? You know, you got to talk. We talk about them being in the playoff hunt. They can't afford to look past the 1-8 Jacksonville Jaguars. Second question was, will we find some mojo in this running game for Jacksonville? Take some pressure off Henne, limited some options. The last one, look at this. Will these fans get a chance to cheer a touchdown? Absolutely they will.
We got number 3 answered. Here is Carson Palmer, and going up the middle and completing the pass for a tight end to Jim Dre, the tight end. So Carson Palmer, who has thrown 15 interceptions, and only Eli Manning with 17 has more. But the veteran leading the Cardinals and trying to get into the playoffs for the 3rd time in his career.
He actually said they've gotten a lot more comfortable here in these past couple of weeks. Those interceptions early, I think some of them were trying to force the ball to Larry Fitzgerald, who's sitting right here in the slot right now.
13-yard gain, and there's Palmer to the air again, and he completes the pass to Jake Ballard, the former Giant tight end. And so 2 passes by Carson Palmer. 42 yards on the first 2 passes. And the Cardinals are in Jaguar territory in a hurry.
Both of these tight ends showing up early. Hausler and Ballard. Ballard, who just recently came to the Cardinals, showed up last week as well. You know, he had a great couple of years in New York. He had the injury, was out of football last year. Big asset now for Bruce Arians in this offense.
On the 38, and the first running play to Rashad Mendenhall, and the Jaguars are right there, nothing doing. Roy Miller, another former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. A lot of your ex-teammates are figuring early here, Rondé.
They have some familiarity with Gus Bradley, Roy Miller, Geno Hayes, who starts at weak side linebacker for this team, both in Tampa, both know this system.
Loss of 2 on the play. Patrick Peterson, the defensive back, is in the game, and he's lining up in the slot.
See him right here
to the left. 2nd down and 12 now. Peterson going in motion, and the pass out to Peterson going down the sideline. Here's Patrick Peterson breaking a tackle, and a whistle. And the whistle blows at the 29-yard line, and that is where he went out of bounds. But he picks up 11 yards on the play.
I was just getting ready to say, Dick, we think that it was him and that coverage on that touchdown. One way to make up for it is to score one on your own. Patrick has been a decoy a lot when he's been in on offense. Bruce Arians said they're trying to limit his exposure somewhat. You put him in the game for a reason. He's probably one of the most dynamic athletes in the game right now. Might as well give him a touch every now and then.
Bobby Massey is an extra offensive lineman. It'll be 3rd down and 1 And here is Mendenhall, and he'll get the first down. And he gets to the 27-yard line. And so with the Cardinals on offense, let's check out the impact players here.
Yeah, we'll actually start with the other running back in this offense. He adds explosive Andre Ellington that nobody else on this team can do. He has the ability to score from anywhere. Can't talk about Arizona without talking about Larry Fitzgerald. He's not having a great year, but he's still their biggest weapon. Dwayne Gratz, in his 5th game playing against Larry Fitzgerald, who's in his 150th, will have a tough matchup. And Russell Allen taking the place of injured Paul Posluszny, have to count on the call plays for this Jacksonville defense today.
On first down, the pass out to Andre Roberts, and Roberts gets about 3 yards. So Posluszny with a concussion. Maybe the key defender on this Jacksonville team is out, and Russell Allen playing the middle. And John Lotulelei is in an outside linebacker as Roberts leaves. And now you mentioned Andre Ellington, the rookie from Clemson, is in the backfield now for the Cardinals on 2nd and 6. The ball at the 23. And here's Ellington. And he's going to be stopped, loss of a yard by Russell Allen. Good play by Allen. 5th-year performer, former undrafted rookie.
Russell Allen, you see him over here. Russell Allen was having a great season so far for these Jags. He's very versatile now. He can take snaps at all 3 linebackers positions. See him come in untouched there, get Andre Ellington on the ground. Nice play for the Jaguars. Of course, a 3rd and long.
3rd down and 8. Jacksonville fans looking for a stop here. Here's Palmer on 3rd and 8, stepping up, and his pass is going to be caught at the 14 by Michael Floyd, and he'll have the first down as he goes out of bounds at the 14, picking up 11.
You know what you notice there, Dick, with Carson Palmer is that he's not the most fleet of foot quarterback, but what he does well is move around in the pocket. He finds time, he finds a way to buy himself some time. See, there's a nice form pocket. He steps up, scrambles out to the right, and then Michael Floyd comes back to the ball, helps his quarterback out to get that first down.
Mendenhall back in for the Cardinals. First down at the 14. Palmer's pass, knocked down. Alan Ball knocks it down, intended for Larry Fitzgerald, and a superb play by Alan Ball, the former Texan, bringing up 2nd down.
Yeah, real nice play by Ball. You almost think that he could have got his hands and intercepted this thing. I think he got there before he realized the ball. He's looking at it. Oh, put 2 hands up, Allen. That's an interception. Good play, though.
So now it'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 14. 10th play of the drive with Andre Ellington back in, shuttling in the receivers. Ellington lining up to the bottom part of your picture. Empty backfield for Palmer. Fakes up the middle, throws up the middle, and it's caught at the 3 by Fitzgerald. Touchdown, Cardinals. Larry Fitzgerald with a catch and a lean into the end zone for a 14-yard pass play, and the Cardinals come right back here in the first quarter.
Carson Palmer looking real good on this drive. You see Larry Fitzgerald right here in this bunch set on the line of scrimmage. Jacksonville falls into a zone. Carson buys some time. He finds the area in that zone and just falls in for the touchdown. Larry Fitzgerald is one of the best in the business now of finding those soft spots, and he did it right there for the touchdown for Arizona.
6th touchdown catch of the year, and Feely adds the tying points. So with just under 8 minutes to go in the first, the score is 7-7. Larry Fitzgerald with his 6th touchdown, and Carson Palmer to cheer him on. And welcome back to Jacksonville. We're tied 7-7, 10-play, 80-yard drive. And Carson Palmer, 6 of 7 to 6 different receivers. And the touchdown pass to Larry Fitzgerald. Jordan Todman on a short kick and will return it from the 6. Todman, former Viking, down the sideline. Here's Jordan Todman, and he finds himself into Cardinal territory with a terrific return to set up the Jaguars. Jordan Todman getting a good block from Denard Robinson, the rookie from Michigan, and winds up with a 59-yard kickoff return. We'll be right back. Well, after that kickoff return, the Jaguars may like scoring touchdowns here. First offensive touchdown since December of last year against New England. 48 possessions before Henne hit Noble. And by the way, for the second straight week, the Jags scored on their opening drive. That's the first time they've done that back-to-back weeks. So a first down, and the handoff to Maurice Jones-Drew. He picks up about 3.5 yards on first down, and a flag goes down. Jeff Triplett is the referee today.
Personal foul, face mask. Number 58 in the defense. 15 yards added to the end of the play. First down.
So we got 3 yards and then tack on 15 more. Darrell Washington with the personal foul.
See if we can see this face mask yet. Darrell Washington comes in from behind. Hand on the face mask, grabbing the face mask. It's all 15 yards now.
And hobbling off is Darrell Washington. So the ball now at the 28. Jasper Brinkley replaces Washington at inside backer. And here is Jones-Drew. And Jones-Drew fighting his way to about the 25. John Abraham making the stop. And you're looking at a Jacksonville team that is last in points scored coming in. They had averaged 13 points a game, and the running next to last against one of the better run defenders.
Well, you can't put so much on their quarterbacks, either whether it was Blaine Gabbert earlier or Henne. You need to get a running game.
Henne completes the pass to Clay Harbor down the sideline, and fighting his way inside the 10-yard line, and they're going to mark it near the 6. Clay Harbor with a 21-yard play as Henne gets rid of it in a hurry. And the Jags threaten again.
This is just the old hideout play. I got to tell you, Arizona is not on it right now on defense. You saw the one long play for the touchdown. Harbor standing out here on the sideline, unchecked. Some uncharacteristic mistakes by this defense that has been playing so well here lately.
No question about it. The ball is on the 6, first and goal, and here is Maurice Jones-Drew. And so far, the Cardinals have been able to stop Jones-Drew on his running attempts up the middle. Close to no gain on that play. It'll be second and goal.
You know, back to that last play, Clay Harbor was actually in the game. So he came off to the sideline, stood there on the sideline. Nobody checked him. Wasn't even in our all-22 camera. We can't even show you him standing out on the sideline.
You mean he avoided our cameras?
He avoided everybody.
Second and goal from the 5. Here's Henne with another quick delivery, and it's caught by Ace Sanders, who is knocked out of bounds at the 3. So Ace Sanders, another rookie, he's from South Carolina, gets 2 yards.
Yeah, matched up against another rookie, Tyrann Mathieu. This ball came out of Chad Henne's hand. You almost thought he was going to get a chance to get up and score, but Tyrann Mathieu, solid tackle there on the sideline. Force a third down.
Well, you're looking at two teams that have not been successful this year, to say the least, in third down conversions. And here are the Jags with a third and goal from the 3. And Maurice Jones-Drew to the top of your picture. Wide to the left, empty backfield. Here comes the rush, and the pass is incomplete. So a Cardinal defender coming in, and they're looking for a flag, not coming, and it was John Abraham came in. And now a late flag goes down.
There's no defensive pass interference. The ball was already by.
They picked it up as the pass was not catchable. So it'll be 4th down.
Chad Henne here. All-out blitz. One guy is going to be free. Arizona brought more than Jacksonville was able to block. Kurt Triplett just changed the call. They did call pass interference, so it'll be a first down for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So first the first official, and they're going to call a taunting foul on Jeremiah Bell. Jeremiah Bell called for taunting. So they picked up one flag and then threw another, and it benefits the Jags, who have a first and goal from the 1-yard line. And running in for the touchdown is Maurice Jones-Drew. So the Jaguars offense averaging 13 a game, half 13 right now, and we still have 5:08 remaining in the opening quarter.
Wow, Dick, that was interesting series of events right there. No PI, taunting foul, getting the first down, next play touchdown.
And Scobie will try the extra point. Well, here's my question for you. As Scobie tries for the 14th point, would they have gone for it on 4th down?
I would say, yeah.
They did it earlier, and the kick is good. And the Jaguars have taken a 14-7 lead. And where is that vaunted Cardinal defense? Couldn't stop Jones-Drew, who scores his 4th touchdown of the year. Jaguars score to take the lead, and it would have been a 4th down and goal, but taunting against Jeremiah Bell, giving Jacksonville a 1st and goal, and they scored on Maurice Jones-Drew's touchdown. So now Cardinals get it back. Javier Arenas, and Scobie will kick it off for Jacksonville.
I'm with you, Dick. I think he may have gone for that on 4th down. So either way.
Well, he did earlier, so you figure he would have there, but you never know. And now they'll start the Cardinals, their 2nd possession from the 20.
Let's go back. Here's what led to that first down. You see Jeremiah Bell right there. He's covering the tight end, Mercedes Lewis. All-out blitz. Abraham's unblocked. So it is an uncatchable pass. I don't think that ever was the flag. You see there's no flag on the ground here, but when Jeremiah Bell goes in his face, that is taunting. And the league is going to strike down on that, and the flag came down after that. It was never a pass interference. It was taunting all the way. Jeremiah Bell, another uncharacteristic mistake for this Arizona Cardinals defense early in this game.
Pleading his case to no avail, and here's Andre Ellington with the run. Andre Ellington coming in, averaging 7.2 yards per carry and leading the team in rushing. But Rashard Mendenhall has carried the bulk of the running plays for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Andre Ellington got his chance against Atlanta when Rashard was out and absolutely dominated that game. You see, he comes in with 388 yards to 320 by Rashard, but he is so explosive. Carson Palmer described him as home run hitter, can score from anywhere on the field.
2nd down and 5. And this pass is dropped by Michael Floyd. So why isn't Ellington playing more than Mendenhall if he's outplaying it?
Well, yeah, that's the question du jour in Arizona. Why is Rashard Mendenhall, who was his loyal guy, not on the bench behind Andre Ellington now? And Bruce had a very succinct answer. We don't want to get him hurt. He's only 5'9 and a half, about 195 pounds. He takes a pounding like most running backs do. He will not last. Bruce wants him around when they go later into the season, possibly into the postseason.
3rd down and 5 from the 25. And Palmer's pass is caught by Ellington. And Ellington will have the 1st down out to the 36-yard line. And in talking to Bruce Arians, he said, you know, I remember what happened with Willie Parker, and I used him too much. He lasted only 5 years.
Absolutely. Here, Andre Ellington, this is another aspect to his game. He's great out of the backfield. A lot of guys on this team describe him having as good as hands as any wide receiver out there. You get him in space, creates problems for defenses. They had one right there, Jacksonville in that soft zone. He just comes underneath and gets an easy 1st down.
And 1st down up to the 36. And to the air again, a short pass is caught by Rob Hausler, the tight end. And for a game break, let's check in with Joel Klatt.
Thank you, Dick. And we go to Pittsburgh. Huge day already for Antonio Brown. He came into the day leading the league in receptions. He had a 34-yard touchdown earlier. This one, 47 yards from Roethlisberger, his 2nd of the day. 14-0 Steelers. Back to Jacksonville, Dick.
Nice uniforms.
Yeah, wow, how about that? Detroit in the hole early.
A lot of football to be played. So after the 7-yard pass to Hausler, it'll be 2nd down and 3 for the Cardinals. And here is Ellington, or Mendenhall, and Mendenhall is tackled after a short gain. It'll be about 2 yards shy of the 1st down and bring up 3rd down. Once again, Russell Allen stopping the running.
So far early in this game, this Jacksonville defense been pretty stout against the run. Now, Arizona hadn't been really that explosive all year in the running game. But this Jaguars defense has given up a lot of yards, but they've come to play today.
Ellington lining up to the left of Carson Palmer. 3rd down and 2, and they flip it to Ellington. Ellington trying to get blocking, will get the first down as he lunges to the 46-yard line, picking up 3 yards. Well, this wild card race, and Bruce Arians' team right in the thick of it right now. Right now, the Panthers and the 49ers at 6-3 would have the wild card teams, the berths, but Arizona, Chicago, and Green Bay are right behind. Philadelphia half a game behind those teams, and the tiebreaker, and of course it's really early for that, the Cardinals would be right there, right on the edge.
You got to think that they got to win this football game. Larry Fitzgerald said every game from here on out is like a playoff game for him.
First down, Mendenhall back in there, play action for Palmer. He has some time, and he goes out to Mendenhall, and the Jags are right there. No gain, or 9 yards. Lotulelei making the tackle. No gain on that play. So it'll be 2nd down.
Cardinals got Colts coming up. Then they're at the Eagles, and then they play the Rams. So they can't afford to take any game lightly. They got 2 huge games at the end of the season, Seattle and San Francisco. So in order to stay touched in this playoff race, they're going to have to win. A tough game on the road here, it looks like, and a tough one on the road in Philadelphia in 2 weeks.
2nd down and 10. Here is Mendenhall, and boy, Jacksonville's run defense has been superb. That'll be a loss of 2 yards, and Senderick Marks, former Tennessee Titan, and the nose tackle right there.
Yeah, you know one thing that Mendenhall does, and sometimes it's to his detriment, he always dances in the hole. He's always trying to get extra yardage. You know, sometimes less is more. Go downhill, get some positive yardage, try to dance at us, and Derek marks his tackle right there and ends up with a lost yardage play.
And Ellington will come back in the game. Cardinals are 4 for 4 on 3rd down conversions. They need 12, however.
Jaguars showing blitz.
And here they come. Palmer lofts it up there, and it's incomplete. It was intended for Michael Floyd. Well covered downfield, and the pressure coming up, led by Geno Hayes. Another former Tampa Bay Buck, and Jacksonville playing inspired football here after coming up with their first win last week in Tennessee.
This is a really well-designed blitz. Inside linebacker showing at the line of scrimmage in the A-gap. Pounce out. Nobody on the edge to block Geno Hayes.
Zastudil punting. And at the 5-yard line is Ace Sanders, and good coverage, and Justin Bethel making the tackle. That was a 50-yard kick. And Henne coming back to lead the Jaguars, who have scored 2 touchdowns, but they have a long way to go this time. Good day so far for Jedd Fisch, the offensive coordinator of Jacksonville. After a long drought in the previous 15 quarters, 2 touchdowns. Last time they did that on the first 2 drives was last year.
Got to search deep for that. Jedd Fisch got to be happy with the way Chad Henne is completing his
from the 9-yard line, and the pass is caught in a first down to the 20 to Cecil Shorts, the top receiver, and his first catch of the day gets 11 yards, and that is the end of the first quarter. With the score, the Jaguars 14 and the Cardinals 7. Sun trying to fight through on this warm, humid afternoon in Jacksonville as we start the second quarter. Dick Stockton along with Rondé Barber and Chris Button. The Jaguars lead it 14-7. And they'll have a first down on the 20-yard line. Maurice Jones-Drew and Jordan Todman, the other running back, are in the game. And the quick to the outside to Ace Sanders. Sanders with a break, getting a first down and pushed out of bounds. Rondé, why are the Cardinals so off balance defensively so far?
It's hard to say. You know, that first touchdown is the case, I think, see a little, see a lot, you see nothing. Nobody covered that tight end or covered Danny Noble on that long touchdown. Saw some mistakes earlier, the pass interference, or I'm sorry, the taunting call in the end zone. You know, you don't want to say, one of our burning questions was, will they take this game lightly? You don't want to say that that's the case, it's too early. This Jacksonville team's definitely come out inspired and really forced some mistakes for this Arizona team.
And Todman with a great kick return put him in good field position. And here is Henne, and he completes it to Maurice Jones-Drew and hit immediately. And there'll be a loss of a couple of yards. Carlos Dansby, who's played well so far.
Man, this was a good play right here by Carlos Dansby. Henne with the play fake. You see these two guards, this tackle come out, set up the screen for Maurice Jones-Drew. He fights through both of them. He comes up with a really good tackle for loss.
How about this? We've had 16 total completions so far to 15 different receivers for both teams. 2nd and 12, and the handoff to Todman. And Todman, who was signed off the Vikings practice squad, picking up 4. They have spread it around, and not just Carson Palmer, who started out with 9 completions to 9 different receivers, both teams.
They've both been efficient. You know, this Jaguars offense has a lot of these screens. We saw a screen a couple of plays against built in to this system. Chad Henne can make the call at the line of scrimmage, whether to keep the running play on or screen it. Whoever's out there getting the ball.
And we'll have a false start call against Jacksonville.
False start. Number 18 to the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Ace Sanders trying to get downfield.
You could have called that on all 3 of them. 18, 84, and 12 moving at that hard count by Chad Henne.
So that will bring up 3rd and 13. Kerry Taylor, who had played 3 games with the Cardinals and was released, picked up by Jacksonville. He's wearing number 13, is in the lineup right now. And here is the pass, and it's caught by Taylor. And Taylor is tackled. Good play made by Darnell Dockett, as Taylor was looking for a lot more. And it'll be 4th down, and the Jaguars will kick after the 5-yard gain.
I just mentioned these screens are built in. 1 step off the line, back, and get the 2 pullers out in front of him, or 2 receivers out in front of him. What I love about this play, Darnell Dockett is a defensive end, interior lineman in this defense, chasing that play down from behind. That's an effort play. You can't say enough about a guy that's willing to do that.
And whistle. And another false start penalty against
False
Jacksonville.
start. Number 16 to the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
So it'll be 4th down, and the punting situation still. Denard Robinson called for the 5-yard penalty. Well, maybe Dockett could play safety if they need it.
He's a little bit too big to play safety, but he can do a lot of other great things.
Dangerous Patrick Peterson, number 21, downfield. And here's the kick by Brian Anger. Peterson at the 11th. And nothing doing as he goes down at the 20-yard line after the 56-yard punt. So Carson Palmer and the rest of the Cardinal offense trying to get that swagger that they've shown lately back in this game. Back in Jacksonville, the Cardinals will have the ball on the 20-yard line. And that offensive line, which has been a problem for a couple of years for this team, and trying to protect Carson Palmer, as you mentioned, not fleet of foot, but Bradley Sowell at left tackle, Eric Winston at right tackle, have done more than an adequate job. Mendenhall is the running back, and he gets the handoff and picks it up and picks about 5. Well, victims of Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines urgently need your help. With your support, the American Red Cross is distributing relief items, providing health care, clean water and sanitation, and so much more. To help victims of Typhoon Haiyan, please donate to Red Cross Disaster Relief. Visit redcross.org or text Red Cross to 90999 to give a $10 donation. Thank you. 2nd down and 5, and here is the pass caught by Fitzgerald, and down he goes. And a good tackle made by Jonathan Cyprien. And for a game break, let's go out again to the West Coast and Joel Klatt.
Thank you, Dick. And some severe weather in Chicago. The Ravens and Bears have been suspended. The NFL says they're going to try to resume in about 45 minutes. But right now, it's 10-0 Ravens. We'll get you more information when we can. Back to Jacksonville. Dick, Rondé.
Boy, we've had a lot of weather situations, haven't we, this season in both college and pro?
Yep. Tampa Bay game got delayed a couple of hours a few weeks ago.
And in the NCAA college football as well, 3rd down and 4. Palmer gets protection, and he's going up on top and overthrows Andre Roberts. And 4th down coming up, and the Cardinals will have to kick.
This Arizona Cardinal offense, other than that first drive, really kind of stuck in neutral.
There is Ace Sanders and Dave Zastudil kicking it away. From the 17, here's Ace Sanders. And he gets tripped up at the 27, and a flag goes down behind the play. 3 of them, in fact.
I think they all saw the same thing there.
Justin Bethel is shaken up, and he's almost staggering out there. Justin Bethel, who's been the ace kick blocker for this team.
The guy, Bruce Arians, said he'd be shocked if he didn't make the Pro Bowl as a special teams guy. See Will Blackman come in here, 24, and just level him.
This is the end of that play. And Bethel on one knee.
That was a violent hit that he just delivered.
There are 2 fouls on the play. During the kick, holding, number 16 of the kicking team. During the return, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 25 of the receiving team. By rule, those penalties will offset re-kick.
So all that really transpired is that Justin Bethel got shaken up. So offsetting penalties. And so we'll check on Bethel, who's such a key performer on special teams for this team, a defensive back by trade. Bruce Arians wants an explanation.
Well, we know what the holding was on Arizona, although it's hard to see how a gunner outside, he's the flyer, the guy that on the outside of the offense, of the punting team, how he gets a holding call. The unnecessary roughness, he called it on 25, but he meant number 24.
Ace Sanders was the player guilty of holding. So again, Zastudil will be punting. Sanders running up. It's going to be a better situation for Jacksonville as he goes down at the 40-yard line. A 37-yard kick that time by Zastudil. Jacksonville leading by a touchdown, and they have the ball when we return. Well, in honor of Veterans Day, for every point scored during the NFL's 32 Salute to Service games, the league will donate $100 to each of its nonprofit partners, the Pat Tillman Foundation, the USO, and the Wounded Warrior Project. And to join the salute and to learn more, visit NFL.com/salute. And the Jaguars donated over 7,000 tickets to military personnel and their families today. At halftime, we got something special going on. Maurice Jones-Drew, and down he goes, close to no gain. At halftime, 200 recruits will be inducted into the United States military. And our referee today, Jeff Triplett, is an Army veteran and was awarded the Bronze Star during the Persian Gulf War. And Justin Bethel, who is shaken up, heading to the locker room. 2nd down and 10. Caught by Taufoa. Taufoa, the fullback. And he gets 5.
Jacksonville getting into this hurry-up offense. Chad Henne said they're going to try to tempo him, see if they can tire him down. It is a hot and humid day. It's definitely in the game plan.
3rd and 5. Here's Henne. And Maurice Jones-Drew holds on to it and will be shy of the first down by about 5 yards as Darrell Washington provides the hit. So this is the best we've seen the Cardinal defense, Rondé, thus far.
Oh, yeah. Darrell Washington sniffed this thing out from the very beginning. They were trying to set up a little pick route. He read right through it, had his eyes on Maurice Jones-Drew the whole way. Hit a crushing hit. He calls that 4th down.
Patrick Peterson and Ryan Anger to kick. And it takes a Jacksonville bounce inside the 10-yard line and inside the 5, where it'll be down at about the 2. And the Jaguars have so much to build on in this game, leading the Arizona Cardinals, and so far doing just about everything right. That was a 51-yard kick. And you can hear the Jacksonville crowd because the Cardinals will start from the 3. Play action deep into the end zone. And the pass caught for the first down by Rob Hausler, the tight end who caught his first NFL touchdown pass of the career, gets 14.
This is a nice delivery by Carson Palmer here. You're in a backed up situation, and all you want to do is get out of this situation. Don't want to be backed up in case you get to punting situation. He gets hammered right here by Andre Branch, but he stayed in there, delivered a good throw. Hausler with the catch, and now they're much favorable position.
First down at the 17. And false start.
Number 81 in the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Jim Dre. That's really got to get under the skin of Bruce Arians.
See these Jaguar players down on the field trying to get this crowd into it. Down in this corner. They're feeling it today.
First down and 15. Back to the 12. And the pass batted down at the line by Senderick Marks. And it'll be second down and 15.
Senderick Marks working against college there. Can't get to the quarterback. Get your hands up.
Well, the Jags are not playing like a 1-8 team. Andre Ellington has checked in. And the quick is out to tight end Rob Hausler. And Hausler, flag goes down. Hausler is stopped about 5 yards shy of the first down, but another penalty. It was Jonathan Cyprien, the rookie strong safety. Jaguars have 3 rookies starting in the secondary. Looks like a hold against Arizona.
Holding. Number 12 in the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still third down.
So that's Andre Roberts. So the Cardinals committing 2 penalties here, and they can't get out of their own way. It'll be third down and long coming up for Bruce Arians' crew.
Yeah, that was an interesting penalty call there. Dick, I'm not sure it goes to second down, but that was an interesting call. Andre Roberts was out on Allen Ball. Hausler went around. I thought it was a good block. I didn't see much of a hold. It's called though and creates a second and long situation though.
They need 14 yards. And inside the 5, Carson Palmer and Fitzgerald making the catch at the 30, and another penalty flag is down right where Fitzgerald caught the ball. It's a 17-yard gain and a first down pending.
You see the Jaguars down there pleading their case. If he led with his head, it'll be a penalty.
There's no foul on the play for an unnecessary hit by the referees. First down.
So they pick it up. Second time today they picked up a flag. And a first down for the Cardinals. They started from their own 3.
Yeah, I didn't think this was a unnecessary roughness penalty. Kind of just laid into him. But a good throwing catch by Larry Fitzgerald, or by Carson Palmer to Larry Fitzgerald there. Get them out of that second and long situation.
And play action. Palmer lofts it, and it overthrows Hausler, who had beaten the defender downfield, but again getting hit. And sometimes they count as much as sacks. Jason Babin, the former Philadelphia Eagle, applies the hit to Carson Palmer.
Carson Palmer comes out of this play fake, and again, watch how he moves up in the pocket, uses his feet. He has great footwork, passes a little bit off, but he bought himself some time. Hauser was running wide open. If he could have connected there, that would have been a big play for the Cardinals.
2nd down and 10. Andre Ellington is the tailback. The ball is at the 30. And the pitch is to Ellington off the left side. And the Jaguars play it beautifully. And it was Alan Ball who broke up a pass earlier in the game, and he holds Ellington to a pickup of 1.
Yeah, big play there by Alan Ball. You know, these Arizona Cardinals like to bring down a guy to shorten up the field so you have room to toss out there, but Alan Ball was sitting out in the flat. A lot of corners don't want to mix it up and set the edge of the defense, but he did right there. It's a no yardage play.
Cardinals have really had their problems when it's 3rd down and 7 or longer. They've succeeded so far, and they have another situation where they need 10 yards here and a timeout called by Jacksonville, and we'll be back. Cardinals trying to continue a great turnaround that they've established, already matched their win total from a year ago. Those are the other teams that have done well. 5-4 on the year, but it looks like, Ronde, they got their hands full against this Jacksonville team, at least through this point.
They do. This Jacksonville team plays hard. You know, all these guys talked about watching them on film, and I noticed it when I watched Jacksonville on film. They may not be playing great, but they are playing hard, and once they start to figure this out, get some confidence, you're seeing the results last week and this week as well.
3rd down and 9. Long count by Palmer, and the pass is dropped. Michael Floyd defended by Alan Ball, but it appeared as if it was a pass that Floyd should have caught.
Could have been, but Alan Ball is all over the place today. Saw him make that run stop earlier. He had a pass breakup against Larry Fitzgerald. Alan Ball out here at corner. Michael Floyd runs that in route. He definitely gets a hand in there. Good play.
You always back the defensive back. I noticed that.
I can't help it. I'm slightly biased.
Yes, Ace Sanders on the return. I guess old habits die hard.
Yes, they do.
Mr. Barber. And Rashad Johnson makes the tackle. Well, Fox tonight, the next evolution of cop drama is here. Don't miss the groundbreaking show that has critics raving. Almost Human. The 2-night premiere starts tonight at 8/7 Central on Fox. An update on Justin Bethel, who was staggered and had to be taken into the locker room. He's under evaluation for concussion.
So many of them this year in the NFL. A lot of guys having to go through that protocol. Jacksonville missing their best player on defense, Paul Puslesny, because of it as well.
1st down and a pass outside and a block made, but Maurice Jones-Drew makes the catch. And Clay Harbor in the pickup of 2 yards on the play. And let's check in with Joel Klatt on a game break.
We go to Pittsburgh. Matthew Stafford out of the pocket, deep down the field, and he's going to hook up with who else? Calvin Johnson for a 79-yard touchdown. It's Stafford's 100th career touchdown pass, and it becomes the Lions' all-time leading passer with that one, but it's 17-10 Pittsburgh. Dick.
Right now, one of the division leaders as Maurice Jones-Drew dives to the 28-yard line. Lions in first place in the NFC North, and the Bears, as well as the Packers, at 5-4, along with these Arizona Cardinals.
Third down conversions here for Jacksonville. 0-4 so far today. 3rd and 7 forthcoming. You know, Jacksonville's been really good spreading this thing around. See if Chad Henne can continue that up and get this 1st down.
And here is Henne in trouble, and he is sacked. First time the Cardinals have gotten to him, and it's Calais Campbell with the first sack of the game. And for Campbell, his 5th sack of the season. One behind John Abraham.
More importantly, is 4.5 sacks in the last 3 games. Calais Campbell, he had that injury earlier in the year, scary injury. He's come back from it. Him and John Abraham providing so much pressure up front for this Cardinals defense.
So a loss of 6. Penalty flag down. Way apart from the line of scrimmage at the 35. And a conference ensues.
The defense called a timeout. It'll be their first. It's a 30-second timeout. There is no foul on the play for 12 men as they call the timeout before the pass.
So the Cardinals call their first timeout. Fox Sports Live. It's got it all. That's 11 o'clock tonight on Fox Sports 1. All of the highlights, little humor as well, all coming your way. So join Jay and Dan on Fox Sports Live. Recap of all of the NFL games, the updated BCS rankings, and results from the first full week of college basketball.
They still got their mustaches going on?
I hope so. Patrick Peterson. Great hang time, backpedaling, and going out of bounds around the 30. Well, first-year head coaches in the NFL, and we have two of them today. Bruce Arians, 5-4. Bradley just got his first win. Those are the others. But speaking of Bruce Arians, once upon a time, he was a babysitter for these guys. Now, I want the viewers to guess which one is Rondé. Which one is my partner? Time is running out.
Oh, God. Bruce got this wrong last night when we asked him to. I had to ask my mom, to be honest with you. I have no idea.
When was this? Tell us about it.
1976. Him and my dad were both GAs at Virginia Tech. I was a young one.
Yes, you were. First down. Palmer has time, and the pass caught at midfield by Hausler. Boy, they really want to get that connection worked out between those two.
You know what Bruce said? It's something interesting yesterday about Hausler. He said it's almost easier to find matchups with him than it is with Larry because so much attention is on Larry Fitzgerald. But Carson Palmer has obviously found a groove with him today. Got his first touchdown last week on a design screen. He's a big asset for this team.
21-yard gain into Jaguar territory and looping the pass. And did he keep the feet in? Yes, he did. Michael Floyd with the catch and control as well. So a 21-yard pass to Hausler and now 22 to Floyd, and the Cardinals in business.
Michael Floyd down here, and they get this bunch set. Most teams bunch you up to expand you. You see a fake to the inside. Corner's a little late getting back there in coverage, and Michael Floyd with the great catch. You know, that's for a guy that has a separated AC joint, that is a really good catch, Dick. To go up there, extend that arm, come down with it, know he's going to land on it, had to hurt him. Good play.
On the 27 first down, Cardinals are threatening, down by 7. Play action once again for Palmer, going into the corner to Hausler, and it's incomplete. And that will bring up second down. Carson Palmer so far, 15 of 23 for 183 yards. And the touchdown pass to Larry Fitzgerald to account for the Cardinal touchdown.
This Cardinals offense seems like it's in a rhythm right now. They haven't really established the running game, only 9 attempts so far in the day, but they're finding some success through the air. Carson Palmer is very comfortable with Hausler today. Saw Larry Fitzgerald get some early touches as well.
And now they're really expanding on their offense. Second and 10. And the catch is made inside the 10, and the run, Michael Floyd, who has made 2 tough catches. One in the air before going out of bounds, and the other in traffic, gets 22 this time.
Carson Palmer, I think he's one of the ultimate rhythm throwers in football. This is a rhythm throw, we call it a glance. It's about a 10, 12-yard in route. If it comes out on time, the defensive back really has no chance to make a play on it, and that ball came out on time. Michael Floyd with a great catch. Set up a first and goal at the 5.5-yard line.
You were talking about Floyd, and Bruce Arians said he came to practice on Wednesday wearing tennis shoes. He says, I guess you're going to be inactive on Sunday. He said, not me. He got his shoes on, and he's made some big catches here as Floyd has caught 3. 2-minute warning. Cardinals frustrated early, getting their rhythm back, and the Jaguars trying to make it 2 in a row. Got the early start, and right now they have the lead. Goal at the 5, and here is Rashard Mendenhall, and Mendenhall in the end zone, and ball jarred loose, touchdown. The ball crossed the plane, and Mendenhall will get the touchdown. And the officials will have to unpile the players deep into the end zone. A 5-yard touchdown run by Rashard Mendenhall.
Yes, he did. That's a touchdown. See him running up the back of Darren College there. On the pull, Rashard Mendenhall. Not many instances where you want to reach the ball out on first down. You got it across the line for a touchdown. Does not matter.
His 4th touchdown rushing this year. Jay Feely ties the game at 14-14 as the Cardinals go 70 yards in 5 plays, and they do it in a hurry. 2 minutes and 6 seconds. So 14-14 with just under 2 minutes remaining. 1:55 in the first half. Coming up, it's the Visa Halftime Report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy, along with scores and highlights. 14-14 in a really surprising first half, partner.
Yeah, it has been. Jacksonville is, not as advertised.
Right.
But again, as I mentioned earlier, this team plays hard. They've had some kind of breakout plays, the touchdown to Danny Noble. Good game plan for Gus Bradley and his crew.
Jordan Todman on the return. He's had a 59-yard return earlier, which set up a Jacksonville score, gets us out to the 25-yard line. By the way, Carson Palmer on the drive was 3 for 4, but had some pretty good passes. Hausler for 21 and hit Floyd twice for gains of 22 yards. Timeouts remaining. Each team has 2. So Rashard Mendenhall with his 4th rushing TD. From the 24, the quick goes out to Ace Sanders. Nothing doing there, and a loss thanks to Darrell Washington.
Swarming Cardinals defense there. Ran that screen pass. Some of these are built in. Ran that screen pass, but there was 3 or 4 Cardinals that made make that tackle.
No huddle. Second down. The catch is made short of the first down by Mike Brown, his first catch of the game. And the hurry up continues. Mike Brown out of the Liberty.
From Charlottesville, Virginia, where I went to school. Mike Brown out there working on Gerard Powers, where he'll be all day, because Patrick Peterson is following around Cecil Shorts. And they're down here at the bottom of the field. See Patrick Peterson, Cecil Shorts in the slot.
Shorts has caught only 1 pass so far, and Henny's pass, and it's incomplete. And really aggressive play on Mike Brown by Gerard Powers, the former Colt, who stripped it away and might have gotten possession of it. So it'll be 4th and 2, and now the Cardinals have a chance.
Just a quick bullet route. We call it bullets because 2 guys go out like that. Playing man coverage there, Gerard Powers makes a really nice play on the ball. Gets this back to his offense with 1:18. And that was only about a 32-second drive.
Yeah.
For Jacksonville. A little bit too much time left on the clock.
No question about it. Peterson is going back to return this kick. It was a terrific kick. And Peterson at around the 10-yard line, and he's not going to get away. So it'll be a long way to go, but the Cardinals only need to try to get it into field goal range. So for what's ahead at halftime coming up shortly, let's check in with Curt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, can the Bears pull off the win against the Ravens even without their pilot, Jay Cutler? Will the Jets take flight in Buffalo? And of course, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will be here. Is that really what you do during the week?
He looks really excited to be playing with that toy.
Oh, that's the most excited I've seen Terry in ages. Well, 2 timeouts left for the Cardinals. And the ball at the 16. Andre Ellington getting the handoff and getting down. And knocked down for a loss, Andre Branch.
Andre Branch providing some pressure today. Saw a couple of hits on Carson Palmer earlier. There he was working on Sowell, runs right through him on that sprint draw. Big 7-yard loss.
Ball is at the 9-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 17, and the Cardinals have to be wary of not trying to risk a possible turnover or an interception
I
here.
think they're going to be pretty content to let this clock run itself out. Look for him to hand this ball off and run to the locker room.
They do hand it off to Ellington, and Ellington gets hit hard at the 10-yard line by Mike Harris with help from Geno Hayes. And that'll do it. The Cardinals, and a timeout is called by the Jaguars with 16 seconds remaining. Ellington, 6 carries, no yards. Well, the rushing story, we can give it in a hurry. Jacksonville has outrushed Arizona 12-8.
Huge numbers there. But both teams have been pretty effective throwing the ball. Only 2 incompletions for Chad Henne. Carson Palmer has been 16 for 24 for 217 yards. So it's been through the air that both of these teams have been successful so far today. Neither running game has been able to get on track.
They've adjusted the clock now. 22 seconds remain. It'll be 3rd down and 16. So the Jaguars getting ready to call a timeout here on what appears to be a running play. If you're not going to risk anything, it'd be the Cardinals.
Well, they lined up in split backs. Unless it's a draw, it'll be a pass.
It's going to be a pass. And Carson Palmer gets hit as he throws, and the pass is knocked away, intended for Michael Floyd and Alan Ball. What a sensational first half Alan Ball is playing, and a good pressure put on by Ryan Davis, just signed this week.
Oh, yeah, Alan Ball is balling, if I can use that pun. See him get beat here by Michael Floyd, doesn't panic. Floyd throws his hands up, he throws his hands in there, incomplete. Another good pressure there by Jacksonville Jaguars punt, or by the front, and forces a punt here. Just a couple of seconds left in the half.
Sasterdale kicking to Ace Sanders. Sanders in Cardinal territory. He'll look to get out of bounds, and he does. 5 seconds remain. 1 timeout left. And Scobie looms, but they've got to do something in a hurry. That was a 15-yard return.
Scobie is a really good kicker. I'm not sure if he's this good of a kicker, but he's going to get the opportunity. Gus Bradley sending his field goal unit out.
His longest this year is 53 yards. Hasn't missed from beyond 50.
There's only certain situations in a football game where you're going to get a chance to kick 60-plus yard field goals, and this is one at the end of half, end of games.
His career high is 59. This will be a 60-yard attempt for Josh Scobie. Now they don't have Justin Bethel.
Good point. They do not. He's blocked 2 kicks this year.
He's in the locker room, checking for concussion problems. But here's Scobie with a 60-yard try. And it doesn't make it. And time runs out. Well, the Jaguars giving a good account of themselves, and a tough game for Arizona. Halftime, we're tied, fight 14-14. And we're getting ready for the second half here in Jacksonville, and a surprise so far as the Arizona Cardinals and the Jacksonville Jaguars are tied 14-14. Dick and Rondi with you at halftime, and one thing that's apparent is that the Jacksonville team, no pushovers.
No, and you know what? This Arizona Cardinals team needs to wake up a little bit, Dick. I don't think they thought this team was going to give up, because they all said they played hard, but Jacksonville has come out shooting their guns. They had a big play early for the touchdown to Noble. They've stayed in it. They've been aggressive on defense, giving them a test.
And Arizona will get the ball first, but let's take a look at the 2 quarterbacks who have battled so far.
Yeah, Chad Henne finding 9 different receivers, as has Carson Palmer, distributing it well, delivering it well, kept them in this game. Neither offense has been able to run the ball very well today. but because they've been able to distribute the ball to all different types of receivers, it has made this game what it is now. 14-14 tie. Carson Palmer, advantage on yards, 209 to Henne's 139. But he's had some big plays out of his tight end Hausler and Michael Floyd, who was injured earlier in the week, but has come up big so far today.
And of course, everyone's getting in the act as each team has thrown to 9 different receivers, and Jacksonville has still not converted a third down in this game. Well, follow your favorite team all season long, and I'm going to get to the tunes. Go to iTunes.com/NFL, and the Cardinals will get the ball first. And it looked like that they picked up some of the momentum, got back into sync as the second quarter wore on. Arenas will return this kick.
Yeah, Bruce started, really relying on Carson's arm, especially that last 5 minutes of that first half. Found some big plays, 21, 22, 22-yard pass plays to help move the ball down the field for his team.
And the Cardinals will take it out on the 20 and will take it down to the field to Chris Budden.
Well, Gus Bradley's message at half was be bold. Expect them to make some of the same decisions with that long field goal and going for it on 4th down during this second half. They were in this same position last week against the Titans where they had that early lead and then gave it up. He said the fact that they were able to come back in that game gave them some confidence. And he said, remember, guys, it's about the finish.
And it is, and of course the Arizona Cardinals trailed in 4 out of their 5 victories this year. They were down 7-0 and down 14-7. They've never led, and they have the first possession of the third quarter. Carson Palmer handing off to Rashard Mendenhall, and nothing doing there thanks to Roy Miller, the nose tackle. It'll be second down. Palmer 16 of 25 for 209 yards and a touchdown. Not thrown a pick, and he has done it in every game so far this year. So far he's been clean as far as interceptions.
Yeah, I'm talking about this team. They're going to run. Carson Palmer has got to eliminate his turnovers. Those mistakes have killed this team in their 4 losses this year. You see him today, though. He's been really efficient, taking care of the ball, finding a bunch of different receivers.
Second down and 9, and going up top with this one, and the catch is made by Michael Floyd. And Michael Floyd with the catch, and a flag is down. Penalty flag thrown. This would be a pass into.
Pass interference, defense number 27. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is first down.
So a 37-yard play. Dwayne Gratz, cornerback, who was shaken up in the first half, in there now.
Yeah, you see Dwayne Gratz gets good hands on at the line of scrimmage, but Michael Floyd adjusting to that ball. Gratz has no choice but to grab him there. We saw his compatriot, Alan Ball, play it much better earlier in the second half.
First down, and the pass. And it is ruled a catch by Larry Fitzgerald. That's his 4th reception of the game. Coming in, Larry Fitzgerald needed 94 yards to become the youngest player in NFL history to amass 1,100 for a career.
This pace, when Carson's throwing it around the yard today, we'll see him get that 11,000-yard mark. It'll be a heck of an accomplishment for one of the greatest receivers of this generation.
Has 49 yards so far and a first down on the 26. Mendenhall pushed back, but forward progress will give him a couple of yards. Jaguars claiming that they have the ball back, but no signal given by the officials, so down by contact was Mendenhall.
Yeah, you talk about Larry Fitzgerald. Said earlier that this is his 150th regular season game. The Jaguars' entire secondary 105 yards. Gratz, the rookie, only in his 5th game. But that matchup is got to look good if you're Arizona Cardinals.
Second down and 9, and there's the quick pass to Hausler, and he's got the first down. Hausler getting to about the 10 and just inside the 10 perhaps. Cyprien, the rookie from FIU, making the tackle 15 yards here.
Hausler down there. You see the Jaguars just sitting there in a soft cover 2 shell corner in the flat. Watch Andre Roberts, though, get the block, allow Hausler to get up the field, gain that extra yardage. Could have got called for a hold there. But good play by the receiver on the end, on the outside, making some room for his tight end.
57 yards last week. He has surpassed that, 68 yards, his season's high. It'll be a 1st and goal right at the 10 for the Cardinals, threatening to take their first lead of the game. And the pass is thrown and caught at the 5 by Jim Dre. Russell Allen right there, so it'll be 2nd and goal. And they're going to mark the ball at the 5.
Not much going on in the run game in this half as well, but you see a concerted effort by Bruce Arians, Carson Palmer, to target out his tight ends so far in this game. Hausler with the big catch earlier.
2nd and goal. Neither team has run the ball, Rondé, and they're not going to run it here. This pass to Hausler, and Hausler is tackled at the 3-yard line. In fact, the Cardinals are averaging under a yard per carry, and the Jaguars less than a yard and a half per attempt.
It's not very pretty when you look at the running stats. They've been so effective. Carson Palmer approaching 300 yards through the air early in this 3rd quarter. You just go with what works. He's obviously feeling it today, dropping back. This offensive line that Bruce said was playing really well continues to show it today.
Ellington out to the left, and the pass up overthrown. Hausler. And it'll be 4th down and goal, so the Jaguars do a terrific job. It was 1st and goal at the 10. Now it's 4th down coming up, and Jay Feely will come in to try to give the Cardinals a lead.
Yeah, Carson has time here. Sinline College, those guards, giving them time. There's nowhere. Look at all those receivers covered up. Jaguars do a good job falling into a zone, giving him nowhere to throw. Smart play by the quarterback, though, throwing it out of bounds. Philly gets a chance to take a three-point lead here for Arizona.
And they do. The first lead of the game by Arizona. 21-yard field goal by Jay Feely, who's missed just one this season. Well, windsurfing, something that Rondé and I wanted to do yesterday, but we had work to do to get ready for this game, unfortunately. But we're glad we're here. That was a 9-play, 77-yard scoring, but no way, right?
No chance.
Here is Feely kicking off to Todman out of the end zone, and the Jaguars will start at the 20. Carson Palmer was 5 for 6 for 76 yards on the drive. So for the first time today, Chad Henne and the Jaguars are trailing. I have to tell you, that defense with a terrific stop, limiting the Cardinals to just 3 on the last possession.
That's a huge stop for Jacksonville. Arizona drives all the way down the field, hold them to a field goal attempt. That is a positive for the Jaguars early in this half.
Henne has thrown just 2 incompletions so far, and he's going to play action, fling this one, and it's going to be caught at the 35 by Mike Brown. And a first down, 15-yard throw to Mike Brown. And there you see they're working on Mike Brown as he comes off the field, shaken up on that last reception. Hand off to Maurice Jones-Drew. You're just not seeing any running attack today from either side, and it's been a passing show throughout.
These 2 big defensive ends for Arizona, Dockett, Calais Campbell, Dan Williams at nose, not giving them any room to run in there. I mean, this Jacksonville offensive line is so inexperienced, not their strongest suit. They got a tough challenge against those 3 guys up front.
There you see their offensive leaders. It'll be 2nd down and 10. And the pass to Maurice Jones-Drew, and he's tackled at the 42-yard line, still about 4 yards shy of the first down. He mentioned that offensive line. Luke Chokel, their #1 pick, 2nd pick of the draft, with a broken ankle early in October. And so both of the tackles, Cameron Bradfield on the left side and Austin Pastor on the right, both backups playing in the last 4 weeks. And pass broken up nicely by the linebacker, Darrell Washington. And it's 4th down, and so the Jaguars are getting to be 3 and out quickly the last few times.
This defense is starting to rise to the occasion, Darrell Washington, such a dynamic player. Last year, he had the 4-game suspension early this year. There's a big reason. He's one of the big reasons this defense has been playing so well in the last 5 weeks.
No question about that. They have playmakers across the board, the Cardinals do, defensively, as Ryan Anger digging in, and the fair catch called for by Patrick Peterson inside the 10. Warm, pleasant day. It's the St. Johns River here in Jacksonville. Has Fluff coming out of there. See if he can catch one.
Heavy artillery there. Love it.
First down from the 10, the handoff to Rashard Mendenhall, and he moves the pile out to the 14. Pickup of 4.
Nothing going up front still for these Cardinals. Roy Miller, Andre Branch in there, Tyson Alualu. They're just clogging up these running lanes. Nowhere for them to get going.
Cardinals 13 yards rushing. Jags 12. Amazing. Just halfway through this third quarter. Second down and 6. Don't hand off. And Palmer's going to go down. Good pressure up the middle. Andre Branch and Jeremy Mincy. And that's the first time the Jaguars have gotten to the Cardinals. This team, we've said it before, 1-8. Don't believe it.
Yeah, you'll see Mincy come on this edge. He provides all the pressure, working on the tight end Jim Dre, but it's Andre Branch with that move on Faneca. Great move on Faneca. Gets the sack on Carson Palmer.
Alphonso Smith making his first appearance at running back now for the Cardinals on 3rd down and 10 from the 9. And the pass is caught, and getting out of trouble and still going is Michael Floyd. Floyd may go all the way, being chased from behind, and he will. Michael Floyd with a 91-yard catch, but mostly the run afterwards. And the Cardinals get a huge score on 3rd and long and increase their lead.
Wow, Carson Palmer again hitting his back, his 5th step, letting the ball go. It comes out on rhythm. You'll see the 10-yard, 12-yard timing route, hits him in his chest, and then it's all Michael Floyd. He was hurt early in the week. Bruce Arians convinced him to practice. He played, having a great game today. Huge play for Arizona.
Wow, well, that could be the one on Fox Sports Live later tonight. You'll see whether that's the fact, and the extra point by Feely, and that was a 91-yard touchdown pass, and that surpasses Carson Palmer's career long of 78 yards. And Alan Ball can only say, what if? Great play by Floyd. Longest Cardinals pass since 1988. 91-yard catch, and that play really took the wind out of the sails of the Jaguars, who had held the Cardinals 3rd and long, packed up, and then what?
Carson Palmer, like I said, has been real comfortable in the pocket today, moving around. He found his big play guy today.
Jordan Todman is back deep, and the Jaguars will take it out at the 20, down by 10, 24-14.
Look back at this play now. Watch Josh Evans right here. He's going to be the free safety. See him, he'll work to the hole, and he's got one shot to find this angle on this route. He misses it, gathers his steps, and then a bad effort. When you're in the hole, you have to be able to make that tackle. When you don't, these type of plays happen. Granted, Jacksonville's hustling to try to catch him downfield, but Michael Floyd, big run and catch.
So it's a 10-point lead, and Henny sidearms it to Mercedes Lewis, and Lewis winds up with nearly 9 yards. Tyrann Mathieu making the stop for the Cardinals, and a few words going on between Lewis and Patrick Peterson.
Jacksonville getting into their hurry up again.
Need 2 yards here, and the handoff to Maurice Jones-Drew. He's not going to get the first down.
Just nowhere to go in there. Carlos Dansby, Calais Campbell showing up at the same time, stuffing this Jaguars running game. They've been doing it all day.
Number 3 against the run coming in, allowing teams 87 yards a game. And right now the Jaguars have run for only 13. 3rd and 1. Timeout, Jacksonville. Their first timeout of the second half. Will take a break. Cardinals taking their first lead on a field goal and adding 7 more with the spectacular TD. Jaguars struck early, but 5 punts and a missed field goal in the next 6 drives. 3rd down and 1 on the rollout. Here's Henne going deep on 3rd and 1, and the pass is caught by Ace Sanders. An unlikely 3rd and 1 play, and Darrell Washington very nearly got to Chad Henne. Instead, he completes it to Sanders for 29 yards into Cardinal territory.
Man, that play looked like it had nothing going for it. Ace Sanders down here working on Gerard Powers, but Henne comes out of the pocket. His initial read is in the flat. There's nobody there. Open.
And he made that catch again.
But he makes this amazing catch. It's a really amazing adjustment. Going over Powers, coming back underneath, bringing it to his body to secure the catch. Big play there for Jacksonville.
And then throwing it away on first down is Henne. Came in relief of Blaine Gabbert in the opener. Started weeks 2 and 3. And Gabbert came in for the next 2 games. And now this is the 5th straight start for Chad Henne, who faces a 2nd down and 10 on the 42 of the Cardinals. And this pass intended for Sanders and never really had a chance.
Trying to set up a little middle screen there. You get an offensive lineman out in front. Brewster was out in front just to lead him through. The poor pass by Henne, incomplete.
Tyrann Mathieu with a blitz. So it looks like the Cardinals getting a lot more aggressive now in the second half against Henne, who looks at a 3rd down and 10.
You mentioned Tyrann Mathieu. He's down here in the slot. He's a starting free safety, but in nickel or sub packages, he comes in and plays inside. You see him covering Ace Sanders there.
And the pass is incomplete, intended for Lewis. So it is 4th down and 10. And Ryan Anger will come on to punt it away. So Henne now 17 completions, 23 attempts, 197 yards and a touchdown. We have not had a turnover in this game with 5:46 remaining in the 3rd. There's Patrick Peterson standing on his 10. Anger to kick. Good kick. Fair catch. And it's muffed. Loose ball. And the signal is it's recovered by the Cardinals. Cardinals recover it as Patrick Peterson muffed the punt. And almost a huge break for Jacksonville. And they're still fighting for the ball, but the signal given that it is Cardinal ball. They could breathe a sigh of relief right now. The ball will be at the 11 when we come back. Never had possession. It's a muff. Cardinals get it back. We're back, and Jacksonville apparently has challenged this play, which was ruled a recovery of the muff punt by the Cardinals. But there wasn't a change of possession. You know, all turnovers are reviewed.
Okay, look at these replays, though, Dick, and obviously it's a muff. Patrick Peterson, but watch. Can't see it so much from this angle. There's another angle that we saw during the break where it looks like Jacksonville clearly recovers this ball. But from this angle, you'll see Jacksonville jump on it here, and it looks like that would be their possession. But watch Patrick Peterson come out of this. That other angle will show Patrick Peterson come out of it with the ball.
He didn't get it.
You see there's recovery right there by Jacksonville, but as Peterson comes over, he has the ball right now over here. So this will be an interesting replay for these officials to decide if that was a clear recovery by Jacksonville before Patrick Peterson took it out of his hands.
A Jaguar had it first, and then Peterson grabbed it. We are going to bring in Mike Pereira. Mike, what do you see here?
Okay, confusion here a bit now, but it's clearly a muffed punt. Now, if they ruled that Arizona recovered on the field, then you can't review that aspect of it. You can't reverse that aspect of it. So recovery of a loose ball in a field of play is not reviewable. So it's going to be interesting to see what they would be under the hood reviewing, because they can't reverse that decision that they gave the ball to Arizona.
Mike, is it because it's no turnover, really, if Arizona just kept possession?
No, it's just the fact that it's not a reviewable play. And see, when you talk about recovery of a ball that's loose and a kick is loose, then the only time, once a ruling is made on the field as who recovers, the only time you can actually review that aspect is if it occurs in the end zone, because then it's a scoring play. But and it also could be at the sideline if the recovering player is touching it out of bounds when he recovers. But in the field of play, you can't do it. It's not a reviewable category. So I'm very interested to see what they would be talking about under the hood.
Yeah, to me there, Taufo clearly gets on that ball first, but as Peterson engages in that scrum, he rolled out of there with the ball. There's another shot that we didn't get to in our review that shows Peterson with the ball on his back, and that's when the official came in and gave possession to Arizona.
Yeah, and that to me is going to be the key. No matter what it looks like here, you know, I certainly hope they don't make that decision in replay to reverse their decision on the field, because it's not a reviewable aspect.
Jeff Triplett coming out of the hood. Mike, thank you very much.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. There is no clear recovery of the football and possession by the Jacksonville. Jacksonville is charged a timeout, their second and their first challenge.
Well, I can agree with that, Dick, because Taufo jumped on that ball, but we could not see that he had possession. And I said there was another view that we had that didn't show up on your telestrator at home, where Patrick Peterson rolled out of that pile with the ball, and when they came in and gave possession to Arizona, Patrick Peterson had the ball. So once it's declared their possession, it's not a reviewable play. Mike Pereira just told us that. So it was the right call. It may not be agreeable to these Jaguar fans of this sideline, but they made the right call.
Cost the Jaguars, of course, a timeout, but it was the right thing to do to challenge it.
Absolutely it was.
And they only have one timeout left. Meanwhile, first down for the Cardinals and Rashard Mendenhall. And nothing there for Mendenhall. The longest rush of the game has been 5 yards. Mendenhall and Ellington each have a 5-yard gain. That's the longest for Jacksonville. Todman has a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, Mincy, Dederick, Roy Miller up front, just clogging these running lanes. That offensive line of Arizona, I think, has done a really good job today in pass protection on Carson Palmer. He's only been sacked one time, but they could not seem to move these big three defensive linemen for Jacksonville.
Second down and 10 from the 10. Play action for Palmer from the 1, and it's intercepted by Russell Allen. And the Jaguars get it back in Cardinal territory, and Carson Palmer continues the streak of throwing at least one interception in every game, and this one a critical one. And a timeout was called by the Cardinals prior to the snap.
It'll be second down.
So it is no interception here.
It's a 30-second timeout.
The Cardinals called a timeout. No interception by Allen. The Cardinals dodge a bullet right there.
Gus Bradley is beside himself on the sideline right now. Look at the exasperation on his face. He cannot believe that that last punt return, that muff punt return, is not his. Get an interception by Nate Allen filling in for Paul Posluszny, and that is going to be overturned because of a timeout by Arizona. Russell Allen, I'm sorry. Unbelievable turn of events here, Dick, for Jacksonville. It's not a laughing matter. But wow, he is very fired up. Motivating his troops now.
This is the other side of Gus Bradley. We've seen him with the smile and with the encouragement, but he, and you have to say, he has good reason. Things have just broken away from his fortunes and his team's fortunes at this point. So the timeout will be the first of the second half for the Cardinals. It'll be second down and 10 from the 10. Crowd on his feet.
I know what Gus is telling his guys right there, man. Circumstance does not dictate behavior. Go out and do your job. Keep them backed up here, and we'll get out of this regardless.
Carson Palmer fortunate on this one in the handoff to Andre Ellington. Same story, no gain. It'll be third down and 10.
These last couple of plays, you could see the fire lighting up under Jacksonville. That defensive front is about as dominant as I've seen them all year. They've had some stretches this year where they played well, but as a whole, they haven't been able to keep it together. But today, limiting this Arizona Cardinals team to 13 yards rushing, it's been pretty solid.
Third down and 10. Last time the Cardinals were here, they got a 91-yard touchdown pass. And there's the screen to Ellington. And he's going to be tackled inside the 10. This is an inspired Jaguar defensive team that have seen a couple of situations go against them, all correct ones. The ruling on the field and, of course, the timeout called, and Jason Babbitt stopping Ellington for a loss of 1, and it'll be fourth down. And Dave Sastadil will be kicking from his own end zone.
Yeah, there's nothing they can do about those other plays. All they could do was what they did just there, rally to that screen, force a punt by Arizona.
Ace Sanders should have the ball in Cardinal territory at least. Sanders getting to the 42-yard line, and that's where the Jags will take over. Bernard makes the tackle on special teams after the 43-yard play. Jason Babbitt.
Yeah, look at this. Jason Babbitt, they're playing tough. Comes out with a handful of Andre Ellington's hair.
It's gotten to this. And we're back here in Jacksonville, 24-14. The Cardinals lead. Jacksonville has the ball on the Cardinal 42. And word from Mike Pereira is that the officials should not have reviewed that play, and it cost Jacksonville a timeout, leaving them with only 1. That was not a reviewable play. First down for Chad Henne, and he completes it to Mercedes Lewis. And Lewis picking up about 6 yards on first down.
Good crisp pass there by Chad Henne, finding Mercedes Lewis in the flat. Pressure by Arizona from the other side. He read it out correctly. Good gain on first down. They need a scoring drive. They need to manufacture a scoring drive. They haven't done much. That kind of impromptu first down to Ace Sanders was the first one of the game a couple of drives ago.
Right, they scored 14 points early, nothing since. Second down and 4. Henne's pass. And it seemed that Terry Taylor was open for the out. Pass nowhere near him. So now third and 4.
Yeah, clear miscommunication. Where he threw that ball, looked like he expected Kerry Taylor to run an in-breaking route. Kerry Taylor was breaking to the sideline, setting up a third and short, 3rd and 4 here. Really important, I think, that they get this first down. Keep this momentum, get their defense creative going.
Jags are 1 for 9 on third downs. Pressure. And down Henne goes. John Abraham continues this amazing string. All 7 of his sacks in the last 4 games. Second for the Cardinals today in a loss of 7.
Hey, now watch this. You'll see Maurice Jones-Drew sneak out to the flat. Chad Henne's looking downfield, looks to throw to Maurice Jones-Drew on his check down, but Carlos Dansby does a great job covering up his responsibility, leading to that sack by John Abraham.
35-year-old John Abraham with the big play here, and so Brian Anger will be punting. Patrick Peterson, who muffed it the last time. Fair catch. And it bounces at the 5, and it's down at about the 1 or 2 yard line. Great hustle by Demetrius McCray, the 7th round pick from Appalachian State. And once again, the Cardinals are going to be backed up starting from their 2 yard line.
Yeah, he makes sure he doesn't go out of bounds. Favorable bounce right to him, down on the 1 yard line. You know, you start playing the field position game if you're Gus Bradley. You've had him down, backed up a couple of times. Minus that 91-yard touchdown to Michael Floyd, their defense has been doing their job, giving your offense more and more opportunities. They get another one here from the 2 yard line.
First down from the 2. We haven't had any running game of note for either team. Mendenhall is in the end zone as the setback. And they go to Mendenhall, backed up, and barely gets out of the end zone. And barely gets back to the line of scrimmage if he did at all. Jeremy Mincey, the former 49er, with the key play there, and it'll be 2nd down and long.
Arizona in this backed up situations, you only have a certain amount of plays that you can call down here. You get direct runs, core runs like you just saw right there from Mendenhall. You might get a curl flat out in the end, but look for Arizona to possibly take a shot here. One way to get yourself from this situation is throw it down the field. They got Larry Fitzgerald, Andre Roberts down here at the bottom.
Andre Ellington is now in the game at running back. 2nd and 10, and they do spread it out. And here is Palmer, and his pass is going to be caught by Floyd, and shy of the 1st down, it appears. That yellow line is an imaginary line, not official, but they appear to be shy of the 1st down. But let's see where they mark the ball. And we're going to have a measurement. Floyd with a terrific effort today. Nearly 200 yards in receiving yards, including the 91-yard touchdown. 6 catches. And it is a 1st down. I think they got a friendly spot here.
Yeah, you look at our yellow line. Looks like he's well short of this 1st down when he falls down. Obviously, Gus Bradley has already used up his challenge. He's going to possibly come back to haunt him down the road. Shouldn't have had to, but he can't challenge. He decides not to challenge that.
So it's a 1st down on the 12. And Carson Palmer gets tripped up on the center or the guard going back, and will lose a couple. And he'll be knocked back to the 6-yard line. Loss of 6. That'll go as a sack, by the way, for the Jags.
Yeah, see Faneca there, the left guard's foot catches toe, he goes down. This is the funniest part of any defense. Whenever there's a quarterback on the ground, it's a scramble to see who can touch him first to get credited for that sack. I think it'll be Mincey who got there just before Roy Miller.
Funny not for Carson Palmer.
Not for Carson Palmer, but it is for us defensive players.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter. Had some wild happenings in this game. Cardinals lead the Jaguars 24-14. Back here in Jacksonville, start of the 4th quarter. Dick Stockton, Rondé Barber, and Chris Button. It's 24-14. The Cardinals lead, trying to go to 6 and 4. They have a 2nd down and 16 on the 6. Quick pass. Getting away is Andre Roberts. And good hustle by Roberts on the wide receiver screen, getting 8.
Andre Roberts, we haven't called his name much today. He's a really valuable 3rd receiver for Arizona. When Michael Floyd went down last week, he was the one that caught the game-winning touchdown from Carson Palmer.
5 catches, 72 yards against the Texans. So here are the Cardinals. They've done pretty well on 3rd down conversions. That's been a problem last week, but not in the previous 3. 3rd and 8, Alphonso Smith has come in at the running back spot. Palmer trying to avoid the sack. Flag is down, and Palmer is sacked at the 7 by Jason Babin. But another penalty.
Arizona had been good early on third down, 5 of their first 7.
There's no foul for an offensive hold. The player ran through it.
So they rule that there is no foul. 4th down on the 3rd sack of the game. Loss of 7.
Jason Babin here, left end. Loves this speed rush. See him working on Eric Winston. Not even close. Slaps his hands down, turns that corner. Jason Babin a couple of years ago had 18.5 sacks for Philadelphia, man. He's showing his value in Jacksonville now.
Zastudil kicking to a Sanders, and Sanders at the 45. Sanders gets into Cardinal territory and then gives ground. It goes back to the 48 where Jasper Brinkley makes the tackle. So Jacksonville will go to work again, down by 10. And injured player on the field is Teddy Williams of the Cardinals. Back here in Jacksonville, as we mentioned, Teddy Williams, former Colt, shaken up, and they're bringing the cart out to the middle of the field.
So Teddy Williams down here at the very bottom of the screen. He's the gunner here on this punt. Splitting a double team with Denard Robinson and Demetrius McCray, and just goes down. No apparent contact. We hope that it's not something terribly significant.
Well, Rodney, now the Jaguars will have the ball at midfield. Last time they were at the Cardinal 42 and they were forced to punt. So they've had good field position. Where do they go?
You know, eventually here, Dick, they're going to have to start taking some shots down the field. You know, this running game is going nowhere.
False start. Well, that's not the way you want to begin this one. Back to the 45.
False start. 63 in the offense. Snap infraction. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Yeah, so I was saying there's nowhere to run against that front 5 defensive linemen of Arizona, so they're going to have to start taking some shots down the field. They're going to have to start challenging Patrick Peterson out here. Cecil Shorts, their best receiver, has been matched up on him all day, and he hasn't done much. 1 catch for 11 yards. You see that matchup down there.
1st down and 15. Shorts defended by Peterson, and he's caught only 1 today. And they're going to run the ball. Maurice Jones-Drew, and he picks up a couple of yards. Let's go down to Chris Button.
The Jags have been without wide receiver Mike Brown for the last couple possessions. He's out with a right shoulder injury. Jacksonville tells me that he's questionable, but he has yet to get up off of the bench in the last couple series.
All right, thank you, Chris. And don't forget Justin Blackman, who had been the 2nd leading receiver for this team, suspended. And they certainly miss Blackman as well. Leading receiver so far today has been Ace Sanders with 4 catches. 2nd down and 13. Shorts, Sanders, and Kerry Taylor are the receivers to the top of your picture. Henny looking and completing for the 1st down to Kerry Taylor. He says, you know, people don't know where I am now. They don't see me on television. And my phone has been blown up. What's happened to me? Well, I'm here in Jacksonville.
Kerry Taylor there, 3rd receiver in. Watch this route. They fake the screen out, pulls the defender out. Darrell Washington, wide open hole for Kerry Taylor to sit in there for that 1st down.
And we'll have another false start penalty against Jacksonville. Kerry Taylor from Arizona State.
Number 77 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
And played 3 games with the Arizona Cardinals. So Uche Nwaneri, the right guard. So Taylor wants to show people he is surfaced.
You've been mentioning his name for the past 2 days. you certainly expect him to do something. He hasn't had much opportunity.
But he's in there.
Yeah, well, he's in there. And like you said with this offense, they're going to have to start taking some shots, throwing the ball. He'll probably factor in.
1st and 15. Maurice Jones-Drew with a stiff arm, but unable to fend off Darrell Washington.
Arizona's defense is just too fast laterally with their linebackers. Darrell Washington, Carlos Dansby. Those guys run untouched because they got those big defensive linemen up front, hogging up any pullers. Just a free hit. It's hard to run against these guys on the outside. And Maurice Jones-Drew couldn't do it just there.
12 attempts, 12 carries. Now here's the whole rushing story for both sides. I've never seen that in a game to this point early in the fourth.
That's discouraging if you're an offensive coordinator on either side.
2nd and 14, and the pass is caught, but what a terrific play by Dansby as he totally enveloped Jordan Todman, the back out of the backfield, and there'll be a loss of 5.
Carlos Dansby over here, and inside, right inside linebacker. See the screen, you see the pulling guard come out trying to lead it. He runs right past him. Easy tackle for loss. Jacksonville's coach is looking despondent on the sideline after that play.
3rd down and 19, and this pass is broken up and could have been intercepted. 2 defenders. Rashad Johnson was there, along with Darrell Washington on the pass attempt, and that will bring up 4th down. So once again, the Jaguars had the ball in great field position in midfield, but the Cardinal defense held, and now Brian Anger will be kicking. Patrick Peterson standing at his 10.
Now this Cardinals defense, we mentioned it at half, they needed to step up, and they've done that so far. It doesn't matter the circumstance. They're getting off the field every single series.
Fair catch at the 9. Carson Palmer has thrown for 393 yards, but maybe the best story for him today is that he still has been mistake-free. Cardinals on offense when we come back. Nick Stockton, Rondé Barber, Chris Button here in Jacksonville. Early here in the 4th, the Cardinals lead 24-14. Trying to win their 3rd game in a row, be the first time they've managed to do it this year. Score was tied at the half, and after a Jay Feely field goal, Palmer hitting Michael Floyd 91 yards with great catch and run after the catch. Been the play of the game. The throw from the 2-yard line off balance and incomplete. And that time it was Jeremy Mincy, who's had a good game, the former Niner, with pressure in on Carson Palmer.
This solo route here by Larry Fitzgerald is the only one out. It's a little gimpy coming out of that route right there.
He has caught 4 passes for 49 yards, but one was a touchdown grab. 2nd down and 10. Here he is on the right side of the line, and they're going to run this to Mendenhall. Mike Harris right there. 1-yard gain. Jacksonville Jaguars came in last against the run. 153 yards a game, worst in the league. Today they have limited the Cardinals to a measly 14.
They went back to the drawing board during their bye week a couple of weeks ago. Really emphasized getting back to details, the little things, reading your keys, and it's helped these last 2 weeks.
3rd and 9, 3 receivers to the left. 2 to the right. Palmer, and it's caught, but Larry Fitzgerald is stopped shy of the 1st down, and that will bring up 4th down, and the Cardinals will kick it away. A 7-yard pickup, and Andre Branch that time made Palmer throw before he wanted to. But for 400 yards, 6th time in his career he has thrown for 400 or more yards. Carson Palmer trying to get into the playoffs for the 3rd time. Ace Sanders with the fair catch. And they'll mark it at the 41 of Jacksonville. So that's not bad field position either. Trailing by 10. They've stalled since they scored their first 2 touchdowns early. Tonight, join Jay and Dan on Fox Sports Live for all the scores and highlights from a full day of action around the world of sports, including a recap of all of today's NFL games. Updated BCS rankings for college football and results from the first full week of college basketball. Fox Sports Live is tonight. Penny with time. Flag goes down, and the pass is caught by Maurice Jones-Drew down the sideline. And he is knocked out of bounds, but there is a flag thrown. And it'll be nullified. 21-yard gain.
Repeat 1st down.
Nullified on a holding penalty.
Cameron Bradfield here on John Abraham. See him right here. Abraham's here. Just tackles him, throws him to the ground. Easy call for these officials to make. nullifying what would have been a huge play. Talk about this Jacksonville playing this field position game. They've had opportunities. This offense just keeps working backwards.
By the way, 11 p.m. Eastern for Fox Sports Live. I was holding my breath, wanted to get that last thing in. Here's a pass that is intercepted by Gerard Powers. And Powers with the pick, and a flag goes down, and there's pushing and shoving after the whistle. And Stillmore saw Todman in there. But the interception by Gerard Powers, the former Indianapolis Colt, and that would be the first turnover of the game. Here's Jeff Triplett.
During the return, tripping, number 30 of the passing team. The 10-yard automatic first down.
Jordan Todman tripping 10 more yards.
Wow, this is one heck of a catch. See Gerard Powers here running the slant. Henny pass comes out late. This is a hard thrown ball and just throws his hands up and it sticks to his hands. That is, I'm impressed with that catch. Tipped, maybe? Yeah,
yep.
Tipped off Darnell Dockett's shoulder. That ball had a weird trajectory on it. Great concentration by Gerard Powers. And that is a crucial turnover for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They needed to get a score out of that drive, get the interception and the penalty clearly in field goal range. Tough now for this team, down by 10 points.
31 yards, the 21-yard return and the 10-yard penalty and a first down. Play action for Carson Palmer, and he goes outside to Rashard Mendenhall, and Mendenhall will get a first down. Will Blackman making the tackle, a gain of 11. So the last 3 times the Jaguars have had the ball on the Cardinal 42, midfield in their own 42, they had 1 first down and a turnover.
Not good when you're trying to get back in the game. You got to give Jacksonville's defense credit for holding Arizona backed up all those times, giving their offense the opportunity on or around midfield, but they didn't turn any of those into scores. And then they get a turnover, crushing.
First down on the 11-yard line. Fitzgerald trying to extend the ball and gets hit in the process by Allen Ball, but gets 6 yards on the play. The Arizona Cardinal defense, and the big takeaway there, that has been a big story for them. 21 takeaways, tied for the 4th most in the league, and a lot of people have contributed to that as well. Coming into the game, only 4 teams had more takeaways than the Cardinals.
13 interceptions on the year. Now that bottom stat there, 7 players with 2 or more takeaways. That is probably more impressive than anything there.
Second down and 4 from the 5. Here's the pitch to Andre Ellington. Ellington cutting inside is tackled from behind after picking up a yard. Jason Babbitt.
Yeah, you watched that play there. You almost felt like Andre Ellington in space had a chance to make something happen. But again, this Jacksonville Jaguars defense steps up big, closes in. See Blackman. Good close quarter tackle.
3rd and goal from the 3. Palmer throws it away, and coming on will be Jay Feely to try to add 3 points to the Cardinal total and give them a 13-point lead. But the story, and you were talking about it here while the Cardinals had the ball, their defense. When Jacksonville scored their 2nd touchdown, there was 5:08 remaining in the first quarter, and they have not come close to scoring since that time.
Yeah, this team has been flying under the radar, so to speak, for the past couple of weeks. But it's been because of their defense, and they're on a 2-game winning streak and in the hunt for the playoffs after 10 weeks of the season.
Right now they're discussing whether it was grounding and not getting out of the pocket, and the flag has been thrown. Palmer didn't get out of the pocket, no receiver where he threw it.
Intentional grounding. Offense on the quarterback. threw it to an area not occupied by an eligible receiver. He was in the pocket and under pressure. 10 yards from the previous spot. Loss of down. It'll be 4th down.
What argument does Bruce Arians and Carson Palmer have that it is not grounding?
You see Bruce Arians throwing two fingers, saying there's 2 receivers up here. One of these guys had to be considered in the area as far as they're concerned. Larry Fitzgerald, Michael Floyd was looking to run a pivot route. Larry Fitzgerald's running to the corner. I mean, I see his argument. 2 guys over there at that side of the end zone shouldn't have been intentional grounding.
32-yard field goal attempt by Feely. And the kick is good, so a 13-point lead for Arizona. Feely now 18 of 19 for the year. It's 27-14. The Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines urgently need your help. With your support, the American Red Cross is distributing relief items, providing health care, clean water and sanitation, and so much more. To help victims of Typhoon Haiyan, please donate to Red Cross Disaster Relief. Visit redcross.org or text Typhoon to 90999 to give a $10 donation. And we thank you. Jay Feely, who has 2 field goals today, kicking off to Jordan Todman. We'll run this out. Has a 59-yard kick return earlier and gets it out beyond the 20-yard line. Fox tomorrow, the battle against the Horsemen may have been won, but the war is just beginning. Critics agree Sleepy Hollow is one of the scariest, funniest, most electrifying hours on TV. Don't miss an all-new episode tomorrow at 9, 8 Central on Fox. Boy, the Cardinal defense in the last 3 quarters has been shut down all the way. Chad Henne with a first down and completes to Ace Sanders. Sanders breaks a tackle, and Sanders may have a first down, and he does at the 34-yard line.
These built-in screens, Ace Sanders. I don't know if I've ever seen a screen end up on the other side of the formation. He ran through about 5 Cardinal defenders, got to the other side of the other hash.
First down on a hurry-up. Henne, where does he go? And he goes out to Maurice Jones-Drew, who's pushed out of bounds by Darrell Washington. What's it like to play on a team that is like a 1-8 year? I know you have a coach that's encouraging.
You know what? It shouldn't matter. You should go do your job just like you would normally. I know it's difficult, more difficult sometimes than not, but when you're a young team, you got a young coach, I think sometimes it's easier.
Well, it was easy that time for Maurice Jones-Drew. That's probably the best running play of the game. Caught up by Jeremiah Bell. And Maurice Jones-Drew picking up 9. And a first down at midfield. Well, the Jags have been there before. And the pass is tipped by John Abraham, bringing up second down.
You can sense Jacksonville in that hurry-up mode, down by 13. They definitely just need to score here quickly, or they're going to run out of time. This is their worst enemy right there. 5:50 on the clock.
What may be worse for them, Rondé, is the fact they have only 1 timeout left.
Yes, they lost one on the replay that shouldn't have been a replay.
Henne, and catching it. Good catch by Clay Harbor. He'll be short of the first down by a yard. And a crunching hit put on by the strong safety, Jeremiah Bell.
Clay Harbor just runs this in-breaker route. Jeremiah Bell coming out of the hole. Really, they're almost to break that pass up. 31.
I think it's a 2-down area. And there's the running by Todman. He's got the first down. Jordan Todman to the 36. Picks up the first down for the Jaguars.
Feel the urgency in this offense, but you also feel it in the Cardinals defense. Sometimes when you run in these hurry-up situations, defensive players tend to overlook the run. Opens it up a little bit.
And there's a pass that's caught by Sanders. Got by 1 defender. Picks up a few. And it's Marcus Bernard, former Brown, in a gain of 3 with under 5 minutes to go in the 4th.
Ace Sanders has been big. He's lined up in the slot down here against Tyrann Mathieu. Down here.
Maurice Jones-Drew, the the carry. Can't get ahead of steam. And Jeremiah Bell, who penetrates in the secondary. 1 yard on that play. So it'll be third down. And you got to figure with the 10-point deficit, this is 2 down territory for the Jets.
After an unsuccessful pass play, you run a run on second and long. You only get a couple of yards. I don't really understand that play. Still need to keep pushing this ball down the field now if you're Jacksonville, if you ask me.
All right, here's Henne. And he lost this one to no one. 3 Cardinals were the closest to the ball. I guess Ace Sanders, who may have pulled up short on the route, was the intended receiver. And it'll be 4th down and 6. And the Jaguars will be going for it as anticipated.
Yeah, Ace Sanders down here in the slot, working on Tyrann Mathieu, the rookie. Looks to run it out. I think Chad Henne expected him to keep going up. Nobody there. Obvious miscommunication. Bad time for that to happen.
4th down and 6.
Cardinals are tasting their first victory. If they get off the field here on 4th and 6, might be all they wrote.
Even in this kind of a game, you'll hand the ball off. And no one's been able to run well.
Yeah, Arizona will if they get the ball back here for sure.
Jaguars have 4 receivers going out on 4th down. Here comes the pressure, and catch made, but I think it's out of bounds. Catch by Cecil Shorts and defended by Peterson, but he was out of bounds, and a good job done first by Peterson, not giving him much room, and then John Abraham by really making Henne rush.
Patrick Peterson right here. Cecil Shorts been talking about this matchup. He's their best receiver. He's probably the best defender in the NFL. Good throw by Henne, but Peterson forces the receiver out of bounds. Pressure right up the middle. John Abraham, high throw. Good job by this Arizona Cardinals defense getting off under a stressful situation. They got 3 minutes and 56 seconds to run off the clock.
First down on the 32. Andre Ellington in the game, and he's going to get a chance to carry. Trying to go outside and tackled at the 35-yard line by Russell Allen. Jaguars have only 1 timeout left, down by 10. And for sure they've had their chances. They've had good field position 3 times here in the second half, but the Cardinals have shut the door.
Yeah, Gus Bradley was content to play the field position game every time his defense was on the field, or every time his offense didn't convert, putting them back, but his offense couldn't convert on any of those situations at midfield. 13 points down late in the 4th quarter.
2nd down and 8. And they go underneath, safe play to Rashard Mendenhall. And he is tackled at the 36 by Lotulelei. Gain of 1, but the clock will run to under 3 minutes to go in the 4th with 3rd and 7 coming up.
Arizona just needs this clock to beat. Just tick down, tick down, tick down. Take as long as you can. Not that Jacksonville's offense has done anything when they get the ball, but they do have to end up punting this away. You want to give them as little time as possible with only 1 timeout remaining.
Longest rush of the day for the Cardinals, 5 yards. Mendenhall and Ellington each have run for 5. Ellington in there and is out as a receiver on 3rd and 7. Here's a pass to Andre Roberts, and he is stopped. So 4th down coming up. And the Cardinals will kick it away after the short pickup. And the Jaguars have called their 3rd and final timeout. And you remember one of them was unfairly given, but that's the story. So no timeouts left for Jacksonville. Well, up next, it's America's Game of the Week on Fox. Most of you will see Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers make their way to New Orleans to battle Drew Brees and the NFC South leading Saints. Others will see Adrian Peterson, the Vikings, take on Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, who are 9-1. Packers square off against the Giants. It's America's Game of the Week next on Fox. What about Kaepernick? If they caught up with him?
I think a lot of teams have figured out how to play Colin Kaepernick. Yes, you know, that read option game is not as effective as it used to be. When you force him to pass, stay in the pocket and pass, he's not as good of a player. Teams are relying on, you know, making San Francisco rely on Frank Gore and other options, and they've really struggled. They really struggled 2 weeks ago when they played Carolina. Carolina went into San Francisco and walked away with a 10-9 victory because they couldn't get anything going on offense.
So the fair catch by Sanders at the 27. And 13-point deficit. No timeouts left for Chad Henne, who has completed 24 of 36. 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Gerard Powers picked it off. They got a field goal out of it, the Cardinals. Pressure on Henne. And almost into the hands of Dansby. Knocked it down, 2nd and 10. Well, since those first 2 drives resulting in touchdown, 8 punts, a missed field goal, an interception, and then they failed on 4th down, did Jacksonville.
It's a team that continues to play hard. They play hard the entire day, especially on defense. It showed, but could not get the results on offense today after that first quarter.
Henne drills it, incomplete, intended for Shorts. And that will bring up 3rd down. Looking at the Cardinals, only one of the teams of their next 4 opponents have had a winning record, and that's the Indianapolis Colts that they play at home next week.
Big game for them is coming up. I said earlier, they got the Colts at the Eagles and then the Rams, the division game. A couple other manageable games before they face Seattle and San Francisco at the end of the year.
Henne's pass caught by Ace Sanders, and he'll go out of bounds about 7 yards shy of the 1st down. 4th down coming up, and the Jaguars will be going for it here on 4th down with 2:06 to go. Only down by 2 possessions. It's 4th and 8. No timeouts left. And that's a crippler.
Let's go home.
Henne completes the Shorts and a 1st down up to the 40-yard line. 11-yard gain, and the 2-minute warning is here. The Arizona Cardinals getting their hands on the ball in many ways and getting their hands on defenders. Defense clamping down since the first quarter, lead with 2 minutes to go, 27-14. 2-minute warning with 1:59 on the clock. 1st down at the 40. Henne completes the pass for no gain with Gerard Powers, who had a big interception here in the 4th quarter. Cardinals getting 3 out of it instead of a 1-touchdown game. It's a 2-possession contest. Coming up next, it's the Pepsi game break. 2nd and 10. Henne, and it's intercepted. And the Cardinals get it back. Jeremiah Bell with the pick. 2 interceptions by the Cardinals secondary, Powers and Bell. And Bell remains on the field and now helped up.
Jeremiah Bell, you see him down here. Chad Henne trying to target his tight end on a stick route, sticks it out, tries to go upfield. Jeremiah Bell read it the entire way, steps in front of it, and that should be about it in this game. Jacksonville played hard, Dick. I'll give them credit. You know, they did just about all you could ask for on defense, stopping the run. Carson Palmer had some big pass plays to really distance this, separate themselves from Jacksonville. But this team didn't give up. I will give them credit for that. 1-8, and this team did not give up.
They led 7-0. They led 14-7, but the Cardinal defense was just too strong from then on. As we take a look at the Cardinals' remaining schedule, they will go to 6-4 on the year. Colts at home. Then you look at Philadelphia, St. Louis, Tennessee. None of those teams have winning records, and then you got to figure if they're going to get the wild card, they've got to win at least one of the last 2. And of course, it's hard to win in Seattle. That last game against the 49ers could loom very large.
Yeah, nobody does well playing at Seattle, but this team is surging specifically because of the play of their defense. Carson Palmer today goes for 419 yards and those 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. That is the biggest thing about this game today, is that they didn't have any mistakes on offense.
No question about it. And Larry Fitzgerald, 33 yards short of 1,100. He'll get it, and he'll be the youngest And the Cardinals will win their third in a row, and they have exceeded their win total from last year. They will go 6-4 on the year, and Bruce Arians out to meet Gus Bradley. And 27-14, and the Cardinals remain very strongly in the playoff hunt, winning 27-14 and go 6-4. Meanwhile, the Jaguars go to 1-9 on the year. I want to remind you, coming up next, it's the Pepsi game break. Curt Menefee, take it away.
That's the end of the game.